Let's see if I can get it on camera. Do you carry a non-lethal self-defense tool like pepper spray? If not, stick around. We'll talk about when it's appropriate to carry pepper spray, how pepper spray is classified, how to train properly with pepper spray, as well as my personal brand recommendation. Starting off, pepper spray is a great tool for self-defense to have with you every single day. In other words, part of your everyday carry lineup. This is because it is a non-lethal and can be used in times when maybe lethal means aren't necessary. Of course, each and every one of those situations is subjective, so we won't be getting into that quite today, but I will give you some amazing resources for things like that. My personal everyday setup is my firearm, my pepper spray, which is always attached to my car keys, and sometimes a blade, depending on what I'm doing that day. I don't typically use blades for self-defense, but sometimes I know I'm going to be outside or needing it for other means. Some examples of when pepper spray is extremely useful is when you are out running, walking, or hiking. These are times when you will not only encounter human beings, but you'll encounter potentially other animals. For example, if you're out walking your dogs and a stray dog runs up and tries to interact with your group or maybe your dogs and you want it to go away, maybe it's being aggressive or your dog is getting aggressive, pepper spray is a great tool to utilize as opposed to a more lethal means. Pepper spray units, especially the ones I'm going to talk about today, are often small and concealable, so it makes it easy to go on a run while holding it in your hand and or to clip it into your side pocket or just have it as you're walking on your hiking trail. For more tips on running and hiking safety, check out my video here. Be aware of your local and state laws when it comes to carrying pepper spray on your person. Before I go on, and I'll go ahead and hint at the brand I prefer, POM pepper spray has a running unit. It's a small glove, I'll go ahead and pop an image up here, that has a pepper spray unit built into it. This allows you to run, as the name indicates, with peace of mind and not have to think about holding the canister tight in your hand. This is actually a unit that I personally purchased for my sister, aka the reason I don't have one here today to show you, but if you are a runner or you know someone that likes to run often, it makes a great gift. Now let's talk about how to train with pepper spray. Just like any tool, it is only as effective as your training. You might be wondering, it's only a canister with a little spray thing, so like why should I have to train with it? The idea is this is a tool that you would be using in the middle of a life-threatening or just at least a very stressful situation. The last thing you want is having to fish around for it and think about how to use it in the middle of all of that. In an ideal world, we'd rely on muscle memory due to training. To train with your unit, I recommend buying the training unit that is meant for the live unit you currently carry. For example, this is my everyday carry POM pepper spray. I have it attached to my keychain because I know if I'm out and about, I have my keys with me. This also reminds me to make sure that I have my keys in my hands when I'm walking, and that way I'm not fishing around in my bag. I actually carry my keys by the pepper spray unit itself. And when I actually go to train with my pepper spray unit, or the training unit, which I'll get to in a second, I actually go ahead and have my keys on there to get used to the feeling of having to handle the keys in addition to the canister. Here are 4 things you need to train. The first is that training unit like I mentioned. So you'll just pop off your active unit, you'll put on your training unit, secure it, and then you'll be good to go from there. Number 2 is having safety glasses. This will be for whatever you are spraying to indicate the location of the eyes. Whenever we're spraying, we want to do a Z pattern, eyes, nose, mouth. So in order to aim, glasses are helpful. Whether you're training with a speed bag target or an actual person, those safety glasses will come in handy, and I'm sure your training partner will appreciate it. Next is a measuring tape. This is because POM is advertised to have an up to 12 feet stream. This means that it can reach up to 12 feet. Some pepper sprays have less, some have more, depending on the brand and the type of canister. So in order to make sure you are training within the distance that is advertised, go ahead and grab yourself a measuring tape. The resources I recommend for pepper spray training are Chuck Haggard of Agile Training, as well as John Murphy of FPF Training. Before I took a class with Chuck Haggard, I was kind of just carrying around my canister and hoping for the best. When I actually went to his class, I had to spray several people with the training unit, and it was a very humbling process. Not only did we do that, but we used verbals and movement, so we actually incorporated real life training. This is exactly what I'm going to recommend you do. Set up a scenario in your head. For example, in this video, I'm walking up to a kind of bus stop. There's a person that starts to be aggressive towards me. I start verbalizing, telling them to get back, and then they start proceeding towards me. I warn them that I'm going to spray them, and then I go ahead and do that Z pattern. You can see here how the glasses ended up getting sprayed in the process. I'd say it looks pretty effective. This gave me a lot of confidence when it comes to the actual stream that POM has. In addition to that, every live canister they send out is HPLC verified, meaning it's been been tested to ensure that it works. And thank God, right? You would not want to like find out it doesn't work in a time of need. I think that's the point though. Following your training, ensure that you're being aware of your surroundings, create space if you need to, and consider using other tools of self-defense if the need to escalate is there. Of course, we're not going to go into the nitty-gritty today, but a series I recommend you watch is John Murphy's FPF training videos on pepper spray. He goes over CCTV footage and bystander recorded videos that give examples of when pepper spray has been used in real life scenarios. This was very helpful to me because it's kind of hard to imagine when it might be appropriate by just kind of thinking about it. Next, let's talk about how pepper spray is classified, as well as why I personally chose POM. There are 3 popular spray patterns that are sold with the various brands out there for pepper spray. These are stream, cone, and gel. Stream is a little bit in between cone and gel. Cone is a bit more of a larger spray pattern, whereas gel is very small, almost like silly string. The reason I like POM so much is because it is in between those two things. Therefore, it expands as you shoot out, and you can see this in the video I'm going to show you so that you don't have to be as accurate with your aim, but it's also not so broad that there's cross-contamination, meaning it blows back into you and bystanders. Of course, this is a possibility, so be aware of that when you're in public and you utilize it, because you will have to be able to take responsibility for whoever gets hit by it. But when it comes to saving your life, I mean, the next thing that defines pepper spray is the capsinoid content. For reference, POM pepper spray gives off 2.2 million Scoville heat units. Going forward, I'll refer to this as SHUs. For reference, a jalapeno pepper has anywhere between 2,500 and 4,000 SHUs. Habanero peppers range between 100,000 and 350,000 SHUs. But that's still not close enough, so let's talk about the Carolina Reaper. The Carolina Reaper gives off 1.6 million to 2.2 million SHUs. So basically, every time you pepper spray someone with POM, you're basically throwing a Carolina Reaper in their face, but like in spray form. The last thing we like to look at when it comes to classifying pepper spray is its performance. POM can give off 22-second bursts or a 10-second continuous burst. This means that you will be able to do that Z pattern we talked about 10 times if you're holding it down for 2 seconds each. This is quite a few times for such a compact unit. Lastly today, let's talk about my personal brand preference. I'm sure you can guess by now, it's Peace of Mind or POM. I've been carrying POM for about 4 years now due to how light and concealable it is, as well as their unbeatable metrics I discussed before this. For reference, a very popular leading brand out there has anywhere between 500,000 and 2 million SHUs compared to this small canister housing 2.2 million. Their powerful formula, as mentioned before, the fact that they're HPLC verified, meaning they have tested the unit they send you, as well as their safe and balanced formula intended to not affect everyone surrounding the person that is attacking you, is the reason that I go with POM pepper spray. While I've been using POM pepper spray for years, they are an official sponsor of this video and have agreed to give you all 15% off if you use the code FITFORFIA15. I'll go ahead and just link all of these you see here today in the description with that code for you. It would also help support this channel majorly, so if you can do that, I mean, that would be great. But guys, at the end of the day, no matter what brand you choose to carry when it comes to your non-lethal like pepper spray, it only goes as far as your training. Whatever brand you choose, try to see if they have a trainer that has the same spray pattern as their active unit so you can actually get some experience with it. Make sure you're putting in realistic scenarios, okay? So you're not just standing there spraying a target. Add in movement, add in verbalization, make it as realistic as you can, in other words. And lastly, let this be a reminder to know your local and state laws, as well as understand that anytime you have to use something like pepper spray against an attacker, you have to be able to articulate why you chose to do so. There are 3 different channels and videos I recommend you check out. I'm going to put them in the description below. This includes Chuck Haggard of Agile Training, John Murphy of FPF Training. I also found a video where a guy really puts 5 different pepper spray brands to the test, so I highly recommend you check that out. I'll go ahead and throw that in the description as well. If you've gotten this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I'm moving all of my long form content here, so if you're here early, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Stay safe and vigilant, and I'll see you in one of these next.